Your lemon tree looked perfectly fine last week, green, full, and promising. Then almost overnight, the leaves started falling, one by one, sometimes in clusters, until the branches looked bare. Most growers panic at this point. But here is what almost no one tells you. The real cause usually started long before the first leaf hit the ground. Welcome to Plant Emergency Room Lab, the channel that finds the real cause behind what your plant is showing, so you can stop guessing, stop losing progress, and start actually fixing the problem. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing. We release new plant diagnosis content every week, and it is completely free. Now, lemon trees dropping leaves indoors is one of the most emotionally alarming things a grower can experience, especially when the tree looked healthy just days before. What makes this so difficult is that the visible symptom, leaf drop, is actually the end result of a stress process that has often been building silently for weeks. In this video, we are going to walk through every likely cause, show you how to read what your tree is actually telling you, and give you a clear, practical rescue path forward. Here's what the pattern usually looks like. You bring your lemon tree indoors, or you have been growing it inside for some time, and you start noticing that certain leaves are turning a dull yellow before detaching. Sometimes the drop happens from the lower canopy first. Sometimes it happens across the whole tree at once. In some cases, the leaves fall while they are still green, which is especially confusing, because the tree looks otherwise full and alive. Many growers assume at this point that they are simply not watering enough, so they water more, and sometimes that makes things worse, not better. Others assume it is a pest problem and start treating for insects when the real issue has nothing to do with pests at all. A few growers assume it is normal seasonal behavior, which in small amounts, it can be, but when the drop is significant and continuous, that is your tree communicating that something in its environment is genuinely wrong. The important thing to understand is that lemon trees, unlike many common houseplants, are highly sensitive to environmental change. They were typically grown under very specific nursery conditions before reaching your home. When those conditions shift, even gradually, the tree begins to respond by shedding leaves to manage its own stress load. Knowing which specific stressor is driving that response is exactly what determines whether your rescue attempt will succeed. Let us start with the cause that is most frequently overlooked, and arguably the most impactful: light. Lemon trees are native to warm, sun-drenched climates. In their natural environment, and in the commercial nurseries where most potted lemon trees are grown before sale, they receive intense, consistent, full-spectrum light for many hours every day. When that tree is moved indoors, even next to a window that seems bright to you, the light intensity it actually receives can drop to a fraction of what it was previously getting. A south-facing window in a typical home during autumn or winter may deliver only 10 to 20% of the light intensity that the same tree experienced outdoors or in a greenhouse. Your eyes adapt to indoor lighting very efficiently, so the room often feels bright to you. But to the lemon tree, it is experiencing what is effectively a prolonged low-light emergency. In response to this light collapse, the tree begins a logical but painful process. It can no longer sustain the full energy demands of all its leaves through photosynthesis. So it starts selectively shedding the leaves it can no longer afford to maintain, beginning with the lower, older, and more shaded ones. This is not a disease, this is a survival strategy. But if the light deficit is not addressed, the shedding continues upward until the canopy is significantly reduced. What many growers do not realize is that this process does not begin the moment the light drops. It often takes 2 to 6 weeks for the first visible leaf drop to appear after the light conditions have changed. So by the time you are watching the leaves fall, the problem may have actually started over a month ago, which is part of why it feels so sudden and confusing. The solution here is to increase light exposure as much as practically possible. Position the tree in the brightest available indoor spot, ideally a large south-facing window. If natural light is limited, a quality grow light running for 10 to 12 hours a day can make a meaningful difference for many growers. The key is consistency. Sudden light changes in either direction can add further stress, so make any adjustments gradually. The second major hidden cause is something most growers never even think to measure: the combination of temperature shock and low indoor humidity. Lemon trees prefer relatively stable, mild temperatures. They are comfortable in a range roughly between 50 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. But what they are particularly sensitive to is rapid change. When a potted lemon tree is moved from cool outdoor air into a centrally heated indoor space, the sudden shift in temperature, combined with the change in air movement, humidity level, and light quality, can push the tree into a state of compounding stress very quickly. Indoor air during colder months is typically much drier than outdoor air. Central heating systems reduce indoor humidity significantly, and the area immediately around a radiator or heating vent can become especially arid. A lemon tree placed near any source of forced heat, a radiator, a floor vent, a fireplace, will experience accelerated moisture loss from its leaves and surface soil. To compensate for this moisture stress, the tree begins shedding leaves. Each leaf the tree drops is a leaf it no longer needs to maintain, and therefore one less source of water loss through transpiration. This is why you will often see lemon trees placed near radiators lose leaves fastest. Even if the grower is watering consistently, the tree is not thirsty in the traditional sense. It is reacting to the drying effect of the heated air around it. Similarly, moving a tree too abruptly from a cool spot to a warm room, or between outdoors and indoors without a gradual transition, can trigger what is sometimes called transplant or relocation shock. The tree has adapted its internal processes to one set of conditions and now must recalibrate everything at once. That recalibration has a cost, and the cost is often expressed in leaf drop. To reduce this type of stress, keep your lemon tree away from direct heat sources. Maintain as stable a temperature as possible in the room where it is kept. If indoor humidity is very low, placing a shallow tray of water near the base of the pot, or using a room humidity around the foliage without creating waterlogging at the root zone. Here is where many growers make the mistake that turns a manageable stress situation into a serious one. When they see leaves dropping, their instinct is to water more. It feels logical. The tree looks like it is struggling, so it must need more water. But lemon trees indoors during colder months or low light periods have significantly reduced water needs compared to when they are growing actively in strong light and warm temperatures. When light is low and temperatures are stable or cool, the tree is not driving active growth. Its roots are not pulling water at the same rate. The soil stays wet for much longer between waterings than it would outdoors. If you maintain a summer watering schedule through winter, or if you respond to leaf drop by increasing how often you water, you are very likely pushing the root zone into a consistently wet state that the roots cannot handle. And when roots sit in waterlogged soil for too long, they begin to break down. Root rot can develop relatively quickly in poor draining or continuously saturated conditions. Once root damage begins, the tree loses its ability to absorb both water and nutrients efficiently. Even if the soil contains both, the result is a tree that shows symptoms that look exactly like underwatering: wilting, yellowing, and continued leaf drop. So the grower waters more, the roots deteriorate further. The cycle continues. On the other side of this, genuine underwatering is also a real cause of leaf drop, particularly when indoor air is dry and the pot drains freely. Leaves may drop while still appearing relatively green and firm, or they may curl slightly before falling. The diagnostic step here is simple but important. Before watering, push your finger approximately 2 inches into the soil. If the soil at that depth still feels moist or cool and damp, hold off on watering. Only water when that layer has begun to dry out. And always ensure the pot has a functional drainage hole. Water that cannot escape concentrates in the base of the pot and creates exactly the root conditions that drive this cycle forward. If you have been watching this far, here is the key insight that changes how you approach this entire problem. Almost every cause of indoor lemon tree leaf drop eventually converges on one thing: root zone health. Light stress, humidity stress, temperature shock, and watering errors do not always damage the tree directly and visibly. What they do over time is compromise the root system's ability to function. And once the roots are struggling, every other part of the tree follows. This is the diagnosis most growers miss. Not because they are not paying attention, but because the visible problem is happening above the soil while the real driver is happening below it. A lemon tree with compromised roots will continue shedding leaves even after you've corrected the light, adjusted the temperature, and stabilized your watering schedule. That is because the roots need time to recover, and in some cases, root damage from prolonged overwatering or root rot may require more direct intervention. Signs that root stress is playing a role in your tree's leaf drop include soil that stays wet for an unusually long time even in low humidity conditions, a faint, unpleasant, or musty smell from the pot, roots that appear dark brown or black rather than healthy cream or tan when checked, and a tree that continues to decline despite surface-level corrections. In these cases, it is worth carefully removing the tree from its pot to inspect the root zone directly. Healthy lemon tree roots should feel firm and appear pale. Roots that are soft, dark, and break apart easily are a sign of rot. If you find affected roots, trimming the damaged sections with clean, sterile scissors, followed by repotting into fresh, well-draining mix, gives the tree a realistic recovery path. This is not always necessary, but knowing when to check below the surface is a skill that separates growers who successfully revive their trees from those who make every above-ground correction and still cannot stop the decline. Now let us talk about what you can actually do. If your indoor lemon tree is currently dropping leaves, here is a practical and realistic rescue sequence to follow. Start by removing the tree from any stressful location immediately. If it is near a radiator, heating vent, air conditioning unit, or a cold, draughty window, move it now. Thermal stress from these sources compounds every other problem the tree is already experiencing, and it is one of the easiest stressors to remove. Next, find the brightest spot available in your home. A large south-facing window or the equivalent in your region is the priority. If you live somewhere with genuinely limited winter light, consider supplementing with a grow light. You do not need an elaborate setup. A simple full-spectrum grow light positioned relatively close to the canopy and running for 10 to 12 hours daily can meaningfully support a tree that is struggling in low light conditions. Third, assess your watering. Do not guess. Check the soil. Push a finger or a wooden chopstick 2 inches into the mix. If it comes out damp or with soil sticking to it, the tree does not need water yet. Establish a checking habit rather than a watering schedule, because indoor lemon trees in lower light and stable indoor temperatures need considerably less water than they would in active growth conditions outdoors. Fourth, look at your pot and drainage. If water sits in the pot base for extended periods, the drainage mix may be too dense. The pot may lack a sufficient drainage hole, or the root system may already be compromised. Ensure that water flows freely through the pot when you do water and does not pool at the base. Fifth, do not fertilize a stressed tree. This is a common and well-meaning mistake. When a lemon tree is under environmental stress and dropping leaves, pushing it with fertilizer adds another stressor rather than helping recovery. Hold off on any fertilization until the tree has shown new stable leaf retention and signs of returning vigor. Sixth, gently check the root zone if leaf drop is severe and has continued for several weeks despite surface corrections. As covered in the previous section, root rot may be the underlying driver. If you find significantly damaged roots, repot carefully into a fresh, well-draining citrus mix. Trim only visibly soft and darkened root sections. Allow the fresh soil to settle and hold off on watering for a day or two before returning to your normal checking routine. Finally, be patient. A lemon tree that has been under stress for several weeks will not recover overnight. New leaf growth typically begins to emerge over the following weeks once the main stressors have been resolved. Continued small amounts of leaf drop during early recovery can be normal. What you are looking for is the stabilization of the drop rate and the eventual appearance of new growth at the branch tips. That is your signal that the tree is shifting back into recovery mode. Prevention is always easier than rescue, and for indoor lemon trees, the principles are straightforward once you understand what the tree actually needs. Transition slowly. If you are moving a lemon tree from outdoors to indoors, or between any two significantly different environments, do it gradually over 1 to 2 weeks. Give the tree time to acclimatize rather than forcing it to adapt overnight. Position it well from the start. Maximum natural light, away from heat sources, and in a room with reasonably stable temperatures. This one decision prevents a significant percentage of the problems we have covered today. Match your watering to the season and the conditions, not to a fixed calendar. In winter or low light periods indoors, your lemon tree needs far less water than in summer. Let the soil guide you, not the date. Keep the air from becoming too dry around the foliage. A humidity tray or a nearby humidifier during dry indoor months can make a quiet but meaningful difference in how comfortable the tree remains. And fertilize only during active growth periods, typically spring through midsummer at reduced strength for potted trees, to avoid salt buildup in the root zone. To summarize the real diagnosis, indoor lemon tree leaf drop is almost always a stress response, triggered by a sudden or gradual shift in light, temperature, humidity, or water balance. The leaf drop is not the disease. It is the tree's communication. Your job is to read that signal correctly, identify which stressor or combination of stressors is driving it, and address the root cause, not just the symptom. If this video helped you understand your lemon tree better, please give it a like. It genuinely helps this channel reach more growers who need this information. If you have questions about your specific situation, drop them in the comments below and we will do our best to help. And if you are not subscribed yet, now is a great time. Plant ER covers real plant diagnosis every week, completely free. Take care of your tree, and we will see you in the next one.